Okay, thank you. Got it.
You
Okay.
like how I'm just smiling?
Oh, so Catherine, you were saying that this is going to be a shared knowledge meeting, hopefully. So I wanted to just show you a few of the basic tools and tips that we can use with students who have disabilities, but I've noticed that we have had a few more students than normal with vision disabilities, visual impairments. And so we're getting a lot of requests for people to show the tools that we can use to help them hear the text, screen readers. And we're going to look at the magnifier on your laptop. And we'll also go into Canvas, and I'll show you the immersive reader in Canvas and how students can have their textbooks be read aloud to them. And there's some other tools that Catherine put together in what is called the LibGuide. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but LibGuide stands for Library Guide. And I'm going to show you that Disability Services now has a page in the library. It's a guide on how to access tools and things from our department that will help with accessibility for students. Okay, so I'll show that to you. Catherine, do you want to make any announcements before we start, or you good?
Well, you guys are good. I mean, I assume everything's going okay, right? And you let us communicate with us if ever an issue comes up. So just keep doing that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to share my screen now. Can you see my screen? It's the Berkeley 365.
Yes.
Okay. And just to take a step back, Mary Ellen, you're comfortable with sharing your screen on Zoom?
Absolutely.
Right? Okay, good. And also, if you can enable the live transcript on Zoom, you'll be able to see the text, the captioning as we are having the meeting. So that is available. It's at the bottom of your screen. Just go to live transcribe and enable it. Okay. So the first thing I want to show you is what's on my laptop, because this is kind of interesting. But if I go to my settings, this is just a Windows PC, and I have my settings here. And in the accessibility section, there's a bunch of tools that can be enabled for accessibility on your laptop. That's a good place to start if a student has these accessibility features on their computer. But what I wanted to show you was the magnifier. So I'm going to go to magnifier, and right now it's turned off. And underneath it, it says what is your zoom level for the screen, and I put it at 200%. So when I turn this on, the magnifier, my screen will automatically navigate to 200%. And I'm just moving my mouse around to show you, this is what the student would see if they were using the magnifier. It's pretty cool. So now I got to find my magnifier, and I'll just turn it off, and it goes back to the regular 100%. Okay, I just wanted to show you that. It's very cool. But under accessibility, there's other things like changing the text size throughout your computer, mouse pointer and touch, text cursor, magnifiers, color filters, a bunch of different tools that accessibility, students can use in the accessibility field. Okay, so now we're back on Berkeley 365, and I'm going to show you the LibGuide that we created. Catherine actually did it. But to get to the library, we first go to Berkeley Apps, and we're going to click on the Engage portal. So when you get to Engage, you'll come to this screen. This is the Engage home screen. And there's a tile for the library here. I'm going to click on library. And you can either type LibGuide, or what I like to do is go down here to find it, because they advertise it on the library homepage, and it's called LibGuides. So I click on this, and all the different departments have guides on how to use their services and about their department. So I'm going to select all guides, and we're located at the top. It's called Accessibility for All Guide. And it was done on May 24th. So we click here and it says, this guide is a resource for disability services at Berkeley College. Please contact the email address with any issues. And on the left, you'll see the navigation of what is available. Under the welcome section, we have disability services, the contact information, what is a disability, what are disability accommodations, who's eligible, and how do I get accommodations. And then on the right-hand side, all of the information is listed, and you just scroll down and you see each one of those sections. So students can use this to find out how to apply for services, what are disability accommodations. It's all of the information in one place.
Okay.
And there's links here on, schedule an appointment with disability services, complete an application, that links to the application, and then renew your semester if you already have accommodations. So that's section 1. The next section is how to apply and renew. This gives links on how to apply and how to renew accommodations. So that's pretty straightforward. And what I wanted to show you really is the third section, accessibility tools for students. So in the menu, you'll see listen to text on your devices, accessibility in Canvas, dictation, record lectures, and screen readers and screen magnifiers. So within that menu, here are all the details for each section. And I'm going to show you a few examples of textbooks reading aloud. I'm going to show you the immersive reader in Canvas and show you some examples of how text can be read out loud from a screen reader and in the different applications like Word and PowerPoint.
Vincent, can you scroll back up to the immersive reader section?
Yes.
So right there, go back right there. This is a good option. So have your text read out loud. So, some of our students aren't as good at the reading comprehension than others. So, or if they have like ADHD or any sort of dyslexia kind of reading issue, you can encourage them to listen while they read. It actually improves reading comprehension and they will get better. And so that's one thing to think about. It's not just students with visual disabilities, just to help them improve their reading comprehension, or if they have other learning disabilities. Okay, thanks, Vincent.
Sure. Let me go right to Canvas and show it to you. So now I'm in Canvas, and this is what the student would see, when they log into their class. I just took an example of a student who's taking advertising management. So I'm going on the home page for the course in Canvas, and this is what they see. And they will see this feature up here called Immersive Reader. And when you click on it, it brings up the page that you're on, and it has a play feature. Now I'm going to just make sure that my sound is optimized. Share sound. Okay, so.
Welcome to Advertising Management course.
You hear that?
Yes.
Welcome to Advertising Management, MKT 2247. Snoopy.
Cool.
My name is Professor Saltzer.
So the immersive reader reads the text that's on the page. So, it's just going to start reading. Hello, my name is Professor Saltzer. I read the Snoopy image, which is kind of cool. That means that the Snoopy image has the alternate text of describing what it is. If there's someone who's blind and they don't know what that image is, it has text attached to it. So that is an example of immersive reader. And then you'll find the immersive reader on almost every page in within Canvas. So if we go to the announcements for the course, you'll see that it's not up here on the top, but if you go to the module, there's announcements here about each module. When you click on the module, let's see, let's go to another page and see if the immersive reader is there. Yeah, like for the syllabus page, then the immersive reader is here.
Actions. Preview.
So you get, you understand what that is, right? The immersive reader. It's just it's the read aloud for the page within Canvas. Now there are other features that I want to show you today, and one of them is this little, I don't know if I'll make it bigger, but can you see this little arrow here?
Yes.
There's an A. When I scroll over, it says alternative formats. So this is a tool that students can use to click to download alternate formats for what's on the page. I'm going to just select this, and it says, it's not a good example because this is for the page, but let me show you. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Okay. So module 7, last call. If I go to alternative formats, it will bring up all the different formats that the student can save this page for, or have it be read aloud. So this page can be saved as an EPUB for reading as an ebook on iPad, electronic braille, audio, Beeline reader, translated version, and then you just download it. So I'm going to download the audio of it just as an example. See what happens. So this is downloading the audio version of let's see, of the page.
This is the tricky part, like, right, with the tech, sometimes it just doesn't work, and we're not
Yeah,
exactly sure
yeah.
why.
I know.
So here's the thing, when students get these as accommodations, especially if they're like visually impaired, it's not going to be as streamlined as we would like it to be. And unfortunately, we don't have like the staff who know how to fix this kind of stuff. Yeah. So we know that's an issue, and you know, if students do come to you, just let us know. So, because sometimes pages aren't accessible, for instance, or it doesn't work, and we don't know at this point. Is it? Yeah, try it on this one.
Okay.
The audio version. I'm curious because it's a PDF.
Yeah.
So if, you know, whenever a
Shouldn't be that
student, like,
long.
yeah, their accommodation, it doesn't, while we try to make it equitable, there's it's still not going to be exactly the same as if they didn't have the disability at all.
Okay.
You know, we are working towards that, and we are not there. We know that, especially for all the online stuff. So, you know, just always let us know so that we can address it the best we can. And then, you know, if need be, I can have that difficult conversation with them. Not that I do. Bless you.
Sorry.
No problem. And the other thing is, I think the professors have to save the files in an accessible format for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they may not have. And this is like one of the things, like, it's good that we're doing this now, because you can say, everyone,
Yeah.
they save it in an accessible format.
Right. So when I click on it, just click on the link, it shows the PDF version, but this PDF might not be readable the way it's saved.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I'm going to make a note of that to address with the provost, because I'm meeting with her next week. These are all the sorts of things that, unfortunately, it falls on the faculty to fix.
Yeah. I want to show you one more example in Canvas. of the textbook. So I'm just going to go into a student that I know. So in Canvas on the left, you find the people that are in your class, announcements, the syllabus, modules. And... Sorry, what'd you say? Do you have a question, Marianne?
No, that was a sneeze. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. I'm going to go down to the e-textbook, e-text, because that's where their textbook is located within the course. So this brings them out to their textbooks, which is in VitalSource. So they are able to read their textbook, in Canvas by clicking on Read Now. And then once they're in VitalSource with the textbook open, they have the contents here. You can start reading reading the textbook here. And with the little 3 dots up here, we have Read Aloud.
10A. Business communication.
So
In person, in print, online. Newman.
That is cool.
yeah,
And there's VitalSource, and the other one we have, I think a
Free
lot of
contents part 1.
the books are
Foundations of
located
Business
within
Communication.
Canvas.
Yeah.
But there, the immersive reader, you can click on it in the upper right too. So there are a couple sources that we get our textbooks from.
okay.
If a student comes to you and they say they're having some sort of a technical problem, even when it's disability services, let's say it's like in the middle of the night or something, they can always call help desk. So you should always have them call help desk, and they can log that. And then you can also let us know.
This is an example of a discussion, like this is the discussion week 1, and then the alternative formats are available here, right at the.
Yeah, we can see if this works.
Want me to download the audio?
Oh, but we can do it later.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So that is some of the features in Canvas. I'm going to go back to the LibGuide and talk about the next section, dictation. So we've talked a little bit about this before, but I'm going into Word now on Berkeley 365.
So, all students can get a copy of Word. Okay, as long as you know that, and that they can download. Mary Ellen, all students can do that. You can tell them, and you can just direct them to help desk and have them show them how to do that.
Okay.
Right. And here's the microphone. Just click on dictate. Hello, my name is Vincent, and this is an example of using dictation on Word. So that's pretty cool. Help.
So
Dictation
the
help.
students can all do this, right?
Yes, every
Yeah.
single person can do all of these things.
Wow, that's great.
And I wanted to show you when you say help, when you're using the microphone, or if you just search for help, you'll get the dictation help section. And there were some kind of cool things in here. If you turn on the microphone and you say, "What can I say? What can I say?" This section comes up where you can say period. When you can say question mark, period. And it turns into a question mark and a period. These are some of the phrases that you can speak. And like apostrophe -s. How about apostrophe S? There, put it in. So that was kind of cool. Some of these features over here, asterisk, /, then they have mathematics. So you can really literally speak everything you need and it will come out on the page. And also,
I have a question, Vincent.
Yeah.
Just because I'm familiar with this, I just haven't used it or with any student on PowerPoint or Excel. Is this available on those as well?
Yes,
Okay,
Hmm?
yes.
All Microsoft products.
gotcha. Okay.
So, I mean, just within the last couple years, Microsoft has really, to stay competitive with Google, has really invested in their dictation technology. And Google is improving theirs as well. So it's really just a function that students have to get used to using it. And there's a learning curve. So some students may use it and be like, well, I didn't like it. They expect it to be completely accurate, right? Or to put in the punctuation for them. And I say to them, well, you know, if you, some of our students, they say, well, by the time I write, like I forget what I was thinking. So I said, well, why don't you just speak your thoughts out loud? And then afterwards you can go back and you're basically taking notes for yourself orally, right? Or, you know, and then you can go back and like arrange them. So I try to encourage them to do that and say you can, but I know a lot of students, they don't like to go back and revise. Like it's
Mhm.
I'm not used to it, right? It's like, oh, I did it once. I want it to be perfect. And like, but it never is,
No.
right? Like all those lessons, right? Like going back is a sign of like extra care. Like, and then you'll think more, you'll add more and something like that. But yeah,
I'm just
I
gonna
mean, you
read
can
this.
even do it with them when you're brainstorming with
Mhm.
Essence,
Yeah,
right?
it's something that she definitely needs. You know, like I've worked with her on this, but she it's just, I think it's a little overwhelming for her. And then like you said, when stuff comes up not the way that she's, you know, projecting it to be, she'll be like, can you just fix it for me?
No,
You
No,
can't.
because then you're not empowering them. You're not encouraging them.
I mean,
Exactly.
and I think for a lot of our students, it's an issue because in high school, the curriculum was curtailed and changed so that they may learn less or the aide would do it for them, but that's not college, right? And that's not what the workforce would be like. So we really, and you can tell I'm teaching you how you can help yourself if I weren't here.
Right. Yeah, and I also inform her that, because I told you she's so like persistent on going to this college in California. So like I'm not gonna be there. So what's gonna happen when I'm not there? And she's like, you're right, you're right. Like she starts putting the pieces together and realizes like she has to put the work in.
That's great. Alyssa, you're doing fantastic work.
Thank you. Thank you.
yes. I'm gonna get out of this now. Now, when you're in Berkeley 365 and you click on Word, which I did, and you create your document, you don't have to save it. You can just close it and it gets saved to OneDrive. I don't know if you guys use OneDrive or not, but this brings me to my OneDrive homepage where it has all my documents and it'll have it here. I didn't save it as, you know, a title it or anything like that. But when I click on it, it will bring up my document saved, you know, from the last sentence that we said.
I know this does lead to a lot of issues for, I don't know about Alyssa, your students, but others, when they do that and they don't save it, like it'll just be like document 1, document 2, and then they can't find it. So
And then we're-
teaching them to rename it and
Yeah.
putting it in folders, that's hard. I know, that's hard.
Yep. That's definitely something, I mean, not necessarily all of my students, but a couple of them. It's just document 1, 2, 3. And I'm like, okay, well now you have to go and find which document it is.
Are some of them like understanding that you can rename them and then put them in folders?
I think because they just want to like finish and save it so quickly and then submit it, that they just don't even like remember that step. And that's something that Essence and I have worked on, because she would work with Kelly and then come to our session and then tell me it's gone, it's deleted. And I'm like, there's no way it's deleted. Like, we have to go through it. So we search every possible file there is to find it. And it's like document 12 or something.
Right, right. And maybe, you know what, maybe that's something you can tell Kelly is at the end to tell her to rename it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then you can pick up from there. What did you name it? Where did you put it? Something like
Yeah.
that.
Definitely.
So
So
Mary
this-
Ellen, Alyssa
Go
works with a high needs student who gets tutoring, and the two of them communicate with each other, the writing
that's
tutor and the coach. So, you know, that's ideal for our students who need the service. So the tutor focuses on the academic bit, and then Alyssa just augments it and continues it.
Yeah, that's great. That really is.
Yeah.
So,
It's
yeah.
definitely been helpful for her. And she's also now working with the librarian in the New York City campus, who's helped her with some of the features on the computer. Just, you know, because sometimes our sessions run short and, you know, I can't assist her with certain things until the next session. And I've been trying to like inform her, once our session is over, I have to move on to somebody else. And then she's like, no, we could keep going. You could keep going. You could keep going. And if I could, I would. But, you know, there's some days where the session is only like 45 minutes long. And then there's some days where it's like an hour and a half to 2 hours long, just depending on, you know, how much dedication she's willing to put in during that session. So, you know, it's good to have somebody else, like, for example, the tutor, to like reflect on and like see what she's working on, just so I have an idea of like what to, you know, expect during my session.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Mary Ellen, you find that need, you know, you can ask us, does this person have tutoring? And then we can find out and then get you guys connected as well.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
We tried to create a system where we would automatically know, but unfortunately we don't have that in place, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And nothing is automatic.
right. And what's also really great is I have one student who's in a statistics course right now. It's the only class she's taking before she graduates with her associates. And the tutor that she meets with weekly, she says is wonderful. And there was a topic last week that involved Excel, and the tutor was like, I'm not really like the greatest in this area, you should work with this tutor. So she scheduled an appointment, and I was like, that's awesome. Like, the tutors like know their strengths and weaknesses and really direct the students in the direction they, you know, they feel like can help best. And she got 100 on all of her assignments last week, so that was amazing.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
And also teaching that you can learn from various people. It isn't, this is my tutor. My tutor doesn't know this, or I'm being disloyal if I go to another. We learn from so many different people and places. That was a brilliant experience for her.
Yeah, she really benefit from that. And she, you know, she's like, I'm so glad that this is like, you know, available to me. And I'm like, so am I, because she's thriving in this course right now. Like, so well. And I warned her last semester, I was like, you know, it is a bit of a challenge. Like, you can either step into this class and do extremely well, or you can step into this class and, you know, have those struggles. One being, I've been in a statistics course and I know, you know, the material that's given, but the tutors are really helping. And I think that's, you know, amazing that we even have that.
It is amazing and so valuable.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to get out of the LibGuide, but just know that in each section, there's links to everything from Apple products to Windows, Google, you name it. This is a pretty comprehensive page for resources.
Okay.
What
Thank
we
you.
need to do, if you feel really good about it, is to make videos for our students and faculty. Because I think like even just getting the windows set up,
Mm-hmm.
like if we have students who are completely visually impaired and they use Kurzweil and they've used JAWS, which is a program that just automatically reads everything out loud to you. You know, they can literally comprehend like 1,000 words a minute because they're so used to it. But you know, we have students who, as adults, or you know, they're having conditions where they're like losing their vision. There are resources we can connect them to outside the school that specialize in this. You know, so there is only so much we can do, and it's okay. It's like Mary Ellen, like you said, and Alyssa, like you said, we can't do that. It's not our specialty. We can tell them and connect them to it.
Yes. And that also enables them to say, this isn't my forte, but where do I find help to make it happen?
Mhm.
And that is a part of education.
Yeah. Right. And I think for our students, it's both like you have to keep working hard, right? Like it's a lot of work. And sometimes our students, they don't know if it's worth it or not. And you know, that's why you're there to encourage them to be like, it absolutely is.
Absolutely.
You know, like, right. It always is. And you should work hard and feel pride in it and then ask for help. But you have to also ask for help when you need it. And that's okay too.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
And
Now,
that's sometimes hard.
I have a board meeting. I had met with a subset of the board meeting last week, and I spoke about your work as coaches. And there's a little confusion. I don't think people understand that you guys are separate from CAS coaches and proctors. So making that emphasis a little clear. But the board meeting next week, I'm going to be speaking about your work and how important this is. So I know in the past we've asked you to like write up and send it to us, and I'm going to be sharing these narratives so that we keep getting funding for you to continue doing your excellent work. Because it's like this is invaluable, you know, absolutely invaluable, and you know, we appreciate you guys so much.
Thank you.
Your patience.
If you can send me any like recent examples of a student really doing well with your work, or just maybe a quote or any kind of situation that you felt really worked well for them, send it to me, because I'm going to put together a summary for Catherine to use for the board meeting.
Yeah, like Alyssa, your vignette just now is perfect. That's ideal.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mary Ellen, you're starting to get them too.
Yes.
Yeah. Marilyn, Alyssa, I know you got a lot. Marilyn, you want more? Keep
Oh, I
saying
want money more. Absolutely. I was so happy with her, and we're going back and forth. And I said, wow, I really miss this. I am enjoying this so much. And then she goes, you're going to have me check my grammar, right? I said, yeah, I am. I said, you got great ideas, but we want to have the grammar correct. And
yeah.
then
There
she was
is
talking about
grammatic. Marielle, there is a grammar checking tool that they have. You know what, Vincent? We should add that. The grammatically.
yeah, it should.
Grammarly?
Grammarly.
Yeah.
Sure.
I love
And it was interesting. She was telling me about coming here from Portugal. And she was telling me how hard, how difficult various things were. And I said, do you understand? You know how difficult the world can be. And now you're adding academia with it. I said, you're going to have a solid, good life. It's a way to go.
This is the homepage. At the bottom, they have add Grammarly.
Oh, you did it already.
Yeah, it's available to everyone in Engage. I think the college purchased it so that everyone can use Grammarly.
Yeah, I think they purchased it a couple of years ago, because when I was a student at Berkeley, that's how I was introduced to it.
Yeah. Yeah, just upload documents and then check the grammar for it.
And it does everything for you. You just press on what they're recommending you correct, and it does it does the job for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Marilyn, do you think you could try it yourself and show the student? Or maybe we can create a video and you can tell the student how to do that.
Sure.
Okay, because I like you spending the time on what you were saying earlier, but like the grammar kind of thing, like unless we're sitting there teaching them grammar rules, I feel like that's the kind of thing I'd rather they figure out and do on their own.
Absolutely. That makes sense. It does.
Mm.
But to be able to analyze, what does the professor want? What are the aspects of this? I think it was one of her pieces was COVID. How is similar COVID to being in a mass prison? And I said, well, what are your thoughts? What could the similarities be? She said, isolation. I said, what do we know about humans? We're people. We need that communication. What's happened to people during COVID? I know, I'll go on and on. This is why, but she was really good.
I mean, the part of the grammar and the punctuation are like, if they're like, you see that they never use a comma, right? Or they always use a wrong form of verb or something like that, to definitely point that out.
Okay.
And you could have them do the Grammarly and you sit with them, and as they're doing it, you point that out.
Okay, and do it, because she
I
put
like
it on
that.
Zoom.
Yeah.
As she wrote, she had it there for me to see. I shared her screen.
Yeah. And then you can be like, I noticed that, you don't tend to put, you forget whatever punctuation, or you use this form, and like point it out and be like, this is a way you can do it.
Okay, makes sense.
So, all right. I think, Vincent, thank you. That was great. I think,
Remember to remind your students, if they have the accommodation to have a proctor and extra time testing, that they should fill in the proctor request form. It's a new e-form that we have, or just, write to us, because we're not having a lot of students respond when they should for hiring proctors for their testing. So we want to like encourage the students that have that accommodation to use it.
Okay.
You guys work more.
and then if they're online, they don't need, why am I so dark? They don't need to complete a proctor form, but we just have to make sure the teachers give it to them. So if the teacher does not give them extended time, they're supposed to get it, and they tell you, notify us right away so that we can get that fixed.
Okay.
All right.
Will
Do you have
do.
any other issues that have come up, or you have anything you want to talk about while we finish up?
Okay.
Alyssa's gone. She left. Thanks.
Oh, she's back.
All right. Is that your real background?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Nice. You're in Westchester, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's funny, yesterday, when I was talking with Essence, I was making sure, I was like, you live in the Bronx, right? And she's like, yeah, and you live in New Rochelle? And I'm like, you remember that? I told her this probably like when I first started working with her. She was asking me like about myself and like telling me about like how she watches her nieces or nephews. And then I was like, yeah, I'm in Westchester. And I couldn't believe I probably mentioned it like
6 months ago, right? Yeah.
oh, and
Yeah.
she was like, oh, you remember that? And she's like, she's got some memory.
Yes.
Tell her to request the computer gets delivered to her home. Don't take it on the subway.
Yeah.
God.
We'll reach out to campus operations to make sure that happens.
Yeah.
I don't want her carrying that home.
I have a meeting with her today after this, so I'm gonna make sure that she's on top of like not taking anything home by herself, because that's not okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, Alyssa. Part of the issue is if they deliver it, sometimes the deliveries don't get to you. What's happened to a lot of students.
And I think she's exchanging her laptop for the desktop. So if she gives up the laptop, she'll need it like right away.
Right. Yeah.
So, all right, we'll try to work through that.
Last thing is Catherine's having a webinar.
Oh, I'm having a conversation with Dr. Winnie Ma. She is a professor at William Patterson, and she leads their master's in counseling and psychology program. And we went to grad school together. She, her focus is on Asian immigration adjustment. And she goes into Patterson, New Jersey, and does a lot of school-based interventions with recent immigrants of Latinx, Bengali, and Arabic descent. So we're gonna, as part of Asian American Pacific Islander Month, she's gonna share her immigrant experience. I'll talk about what it's like being Asian American growing up and how she navigates the professional world. She's really into career development, and I have a class coming, but yeah, thanks, Vincent. I'll send you guys
Oh, that's gonna be
email if you want to
so
log
valuable.
in.
Next Tuesday at 3:45, right?
And you can send me uncomfortable questions that I'll answer,
All right.
right? Because that's the purpose of these conversations, right? So absolutely send them away. So I hope you, yeah.
We'll definitely be there.
Thanks, Vincent. All right, guys.
Thank you so much.
I
Thank
hope
you.
you have a fantastic Memorial Day weekend.
Thank you, you
Please,
too. Do you know where I'm going?
Where are you going?
Tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock, I'm flying to Atlanta. Why, you ask? The little devil I live with, who is now 17, he's actually going to the Korean global, he's a 3rd-degree black belt competition in Atlanta, Georgia.
What?
Oh, my Taekwondo master's his son is gonna be there too, because he competes in that too.
Yeah, no, William has competed since he was 7.
I'll ask him to look
wow.
out for him.
Okay, great.
But I think his son's a 4th degree, so they'll be competing in separate.
Yeah, William's only 3rd.
Yeah, that's a big deal. That's
You only
fantastic.
compete
Good
with your
luck
same
to him.
degree?
What's that?
He's a
You
3rd.
only compete with your same degree people?
Yeah.
The
Oh.
forms
And
are
also
different.
age,
Oh, wow.
weight.
The forms are different, Vincent, with each degree.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're different forms. Yeah.
And are they doing pumzai? Are they doing sparring?
Yeah, he does Pumse, and I think I don't know if he's still competing he's in college now. I don't know if he's still competing sparring, but
I have to laugh. My son is saying, Mom, I have to go to a college and he went to the New York Championship for slalom and giant slalom a couple of weeks ago. He does competitive ski racing and taekwondo. And he goes, and I have to brag about this. I'm sorry. I apologize, but I have to. He's a junior. I got his transcript for the 3 years. Do you know what his lowest marking period grade is?
What's that?
96.
Oh my
What?
goodness.
Yes. Oh, well, I could send it to you. I'm so proud. And his guidance counselor said, Steele, I don't think you're going to have a problem getting into a college. He goes, but my mom says it has to be something that my heart goes to. It's the academic, it's getting a career, it's what I can do there. So he's looking to see.
Boston College.
Well, what? He wants to make sure it's the right college.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I hope you guys
picture.
have fantastic weekends. And, if you remember to set limits, right? Like if you need a time off, you tell them, I am not available. And if they text you, you do not respond. All right.
Right.
Right? This is counseling. As a counselor, you learn this. It's so important to set those limits for your own health. Okay.
Okay.
So please take the time off to recharge and rejuvenate. If they have
And
a
also-
crisis, you do not need to be there because you are not their parent, right? And you tell them you're not going to be available. And if they reach out to you, you do not respond because you're not available. And you said, I'm so sorry, I couldn't. All right.
All right.
Peace.
You have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend, Catherine. Vincent, you have a wonderful Memorial Day
You
weekend.
too. And remember to put the hour in your timesheet for today. Put monthly
Oh.
training for
Yes.
staff training. Okay.
Absolutely.
Will
All
do.
righty. Take good
Bye,
care.
guys.
Bye. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye.
Bye. Where was